What is a distinct feature about spirituality versus any other science? Whether you take it math or English or history, French, geology, what makes spirituality, this science, different? If you study Mercury, if you know Mercury, do you become Mercury? If you study the Spirit, do you become the Spirit? Maybe. Yeah, you do. If you study it thorough enough. That's the distinct feature. I can study this flower my whole life. Am I going to become that flower? But if I study the Spirit, if I study the Vedas, if I study in an ashram, if I study like I'm doing now, I'm studying about myself. So I become that then. Everything I do in life, all the classes we've ever taken have been objective sciences. It's a study of the world. This spirituality is a subjective science. It's a study of oneself. By knowing the Spirit, you become the Spirit. And our scriptures say, Brahmavit, Brahmeva, Bhavati. The knower of the Spirit becomes the Spirit. Many of our Upanishads say that. And no other science shares the same relationship. Like I said, I can study this watch all day, but I'm not going to become the watch. But if I study the Spirit, I become that Spirit. This is what all our masters are doing, have done. They say that once you're realized, even the Vedas dare not prescribe do's and don'ts or laws for a realized master. They dare not, because everything a realized master does becomes the Veda, becomes authority, becomes scripture. They become that Spirit that the Vedas are trying to teach us to become. No other science shares that same relationship between the means and the ends being the same. What you're studying is the goal. So what can we say about spirituality then? That spirituality is a science of the Spirit, but more practically speaking, it's a science of happiness. That's what spirituality is. It's science to inculcate happiness, to bring peace into one's life. Are these courses offered in your schools? When I was in school, I didn't know there was a class called The Science of Happiness. Anyone? That's what's being offered here. That's what Vedanta is. That's what spirituality is. It teaches one how to be happy. And just like Pooja said, do you really ever see a master ever unhappy? And if you do, it's in such a rare circumstance and you have no idea what the situation is. Because they've studied that science, they've become that happiness. What other science can teach you that? I studied business for 4 years. It didn't teach me to be happier. Many of you are in pre-medicine, engineers, lawyers. Do your professional schools teach you to be happy? Or your high schools? An objective science versus a subjective science. With this being said then, is any science more important than spirituality? Do you know any science that's more important? Do you all agree with me then? Spirituality is the most important science. Yes or no? Put your hand up if you agree. For those who have their hands up, how much time are you dedicating towards this most important science versus the less important sciences? This is the most important. How come we're not investing as much time towards it as the less important sciences? You said it. You put your hands up. I didn't make you put your hands up.
Because the world doesn't value, like, a lot of people don't value it. You know, and we may value it, right? But we have to live in the world. We have to work. We have to go to school. And so it's not valued by society.
Okay. How many hours of school did you take while you were in school? Of classes a week?
What was it, like 12 or 15?
Okay. And suppose add another 2 hours for every classroom hour that you're in, okay? So 45 hours. Let's make it 3 times. or 4 times, so 60 hours a week dedicated towards school, right? How many hours are in a week? 168. So what are you doing with the other 108 hours? Sleep. Okay, fair enough. So suppose you have to sleep 7 hours a day. There's another 49 hours. So 60 plus 49 is 109. What are you doing with the other 59 hours? Eating. 59 hours of eating. That's intense. Sheena, go ahead.
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So you're saying that, you're supposed to dedicate a portion of your day to spirituality, right? But if it's something that we're supposed to be practicing, then can't it be something that we're just practicing versus dedicating a chunk of our time? Like when we study, can't we be happy?
Can you? Are you happy
I
when
mean,
you study? Don't tell me, I'm asking you. These questions are for you. Absolutely, and we'll get into that. But my point is, you all told me that Vedanta is the study of happiness, the science of happiness. Happiness is the purpose of life. So that just shows that Vedanta is the most important science. But how much time are we dedicating towards it? Something to think about. This is the story of all of us here. All of the other sciences that we pursue are indirect means to happiness. I go to medical school to be a doctor so I can make money, so I can be happy. So I can serve people, so I can be happy. I do X, Y, Z, so I can get money to be happy. I have children so that I can be happy. Why not just be happy instead of going through this roundabout way to be happy? Spirituality is the most efficient and direct route to happiness. It's like being a vegetarian. I was sharing this with some other people yesterday, a couple of days ago. I can eat the cow or the pig or the goat that's eating the grass to sustain myself. Or I can eat the grass myself. Seems like an inefficient way to sustain oneself. It's not very environmentally friendly. It's just inefficient living. Multiply that by 6 billion people doing and acting in this inefficient way. 6.5 billion, or however many are vegetarians or non-vegetarians. Why? Because this tongue, which is only 1.5 inches long, is more important to me than saving the environment. Right? It comes down to importance again. What I'm saying is that my tongue is more important than the environment. What I'm saying is that chemistry is more important than my happiness. That's how you and I are living right now. This is the truth. And this is why you've all come here, because you have a doubt about, can I get happiness from all of this? And that's what we're here to pursue. The Spirit is the direct means to joy. So the Spirit is happiness. Spirituality is to find out where the Spirit is. Fair enough? The Spirit is happiness. Spirituality is to find out where happiness is. Spirituality is to find out where the Spirit is. Now, do you and I know where the Spirit is? Do you know where the Spirit is? Pop in prayer now?
It's everywhere.
Yeah? Do you believe that?
Sort of.
So did you just eat the Spirit downstairs?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? How did it taste? Did it taste all right?
Yeah.
Can you describe this? Can you describe the Spirit to me?
Can I describe it? It's energy. Everything is energy. I'm wrong.
To even think that one can describe the Spirit is wrong, because the Spirit is indescribable. For me to even call it indescribable is a limitation. The truth defined is the truth defiled. You and I, with our limited equipment, cannot appreciate what or where the Spirit is. Cannot. So then that defeats the purpose of spirituality. Because spirituality is trying to find where the Spirit is. And I want to find the Spirit because it's happiness, but I don't know where the Spirit is. So, end game, let's go. We can't do anything about it. So instead of finding the Spirit, how about we find happiness? Because if I find happiness, that means the Spirit is there. So let's find happiness. Where is happiness?